Hi guys, I'm back with 3 tips on how to communicate with your partner. So I was thinking about this and I decided I will divide this into tips for him and tips for her. And at the end I will mention tips for both of you. So let me start with 3 tips on how to better communicate with your partner for him. So the first tip I would like to give you guys when you try to talk with your girlfriend is don't try to solve the problem. That's what all of us do. It's just in our nature, and this is what we would do. We would do with our male friends, right? Your friend comes to you with some problem, something is bothering them, and you come up with a solution logically, rationally, and usually your friend is happy or feels better. That works really great with male friends, but it works exactly the opposite with your girlfriend. And why is that? Well, because we are just fundamentally different in our nature and how we think. As a males, we try to use logic and rational thinking and just get it done. And the females, they look different. They are about the energy and the emotions and the feelings and the movements. It's just the feminine and the masculine energies. It's a different thing. So that's why when we approach our girlfriend trying to solve the problem as we do with our male friends, it actually makes things worse. So when you get into a situation where some issue comes up, there's some argument, or your girlfriend is not really happy about something, and she tells you how she feels, don't try to tell her that she should not feel like this, or try to suggest solutions how we can fix the situation, or what we can do, or what she should or shouldn't do so she doesn't feel that way, right? The important thing is that you simply don't try to come up with the solution, even if you don't really understand you don't really get how she feels. Like, you don't really understand where are these feelings coming from. It doesn't really make sense to you. That doesn't really matter. If someone else doesn't feel like you feel, or you don't understand why someone else feels a certain way, it doesn't make their feelings any less real or legitimate. So tip number 1 for you guys, don't try to solve the problem with your girlfriends. And that actually takes us to tip number 2, which is try to initiate physical contact in a nice, gentle, safe way, of course. What I mean by that, well, when you see her kind of shutting down, or her energy gets really low or like down and heavy, and you can sense tension, don't try to solve the problem and ask and give suggestions, as I mentioned just a few seconds ago. Instead, try to just hold her. Come to her, gently grab her, hug her, make her feel safe, and just simply create a safe space for her to feel her emotions, whatever they are. Use the physical contact as a way to reconnect. Something I call raising the white flag, right? You instead of trying to attack her or solve the problem or tell her she shouldn't feel this way, you come to her and you touch her, pet her, hold her. You don't even have to say anything. You'll see the energy will completely change, and she will feel like she doesn't have to defend herself anymore. She'll feel like she can just simply uh, be there with the feeling and feel whatever she needs to feel. And then the third tip, or the tip number 3 for you guys, is ask her what exactly does she want from you. Right? So this is really important, and it will help you a lot, because instead of assuming and then trying to solve a problem from our assumptions, which are most of the time not correct, because we simply can't read our minds, even though we think that we know the partner. There's just so many things she can be thinking about, it's impossible for you to know. So the safest way actually is to ask what it is. What is that need? What is not being met for her? Like what does she exactly need from you? And you'll be surprised. Maybe she will just say that you should just leave her alone and give her some space. Or maybe she will tell you that she wants you to try understand why she feels, or she wants you to think about how it would be if in your situation when you were in her shoes, and try to see things from her perspective. Or maybe she just wants to talk and doesn't really want you to solve any problems. She just wants to share how she feels, and she just wants to be feeling that way for some time, which is a really hard thing for us to do, but it's really crucial, and it will help you tremendously with dealing with difficult situations or having these hard, tough communications or arguments with your girlfriend. So there was 3 tips for the guys, and now I would like to move to 3 tips for her, because relationship is a dance, right? It's a 50-50% thing. Like there's no such thing as it's all his fault and stuff like that. It always comes hand in hand with behavior of both partners, and that's why I want to mention 3 tips for her too, so she can do her part of the work too. So tip number 1 I have for you ladies is really say how you feel. That kind of connects with the last point for, or last tip for him, but say how you feel, or what are you going through at the moment. What I've noticed that a lot of the times ladies they get really, really heavy with that tense energy, and they either burst out in anger and start like attacking the partner or the guy, right? Saying how he is or he isn't, and giving him different labels, and you always and you never. But how she's actually feeling is never said. So this is really important for you ladies to actually express how you feel, even though you feel it's really hard to not lose it, right? If you either lose it and start attacking him, or you shut down and don't say anything, that's equally bad. That doesn't contribute to any positive outcome of the communication or of the argument. And more the guy will try to actually figure out what's wrong, the more you will not be telling him what's going on. So that would be tip number 1 for ladies. The second tip I have for you is say what do you need at the moment. Say, like literally word by word, you can say, I need you to just listen and not say anything. Or I need you to just leave me alone for a few minutes. I need to gather my thoughts and reflect on my feelings, right? Or you can say, I want you to just hold me, or I want you to try to understand, or I don't want you to give me a solution, I want you to give me understanding. Whatever it is, you can say you should really try to use as specific words as you can, and really just serve it on a golden plate to your boyfriend, like what it is that you need from him at the moment. And the third tip I have for you is when the guy is trying to approach you and is trying to make things better or come with that white flag, you know, to make peace, or it's a peace gesture, tries to touch you, tries to give you or offer you solutions for your problem, what he sees as a problem he needs to solve. When you recognize that this is happening, please try to be compassionate and empathic about that too. Like, recognize that the guy is just programmed to rationally and logically solve problems. So when you see they are doing that to you, don't just dismiss them or lash out back at them or say things like you never understand or you never listen and so on. Just try to realize that he is actually doing all this because he really cares about you. Like, him trying to solve the problem in the best way he can is actually a huge sign that he really cares about you, right? So the third point is really just about being mindful that the guy has a different approach to conflicts and arguments, and if you could understand that and not get triggered by that, that will absolutely help you again really a lot when you're trying to have difficult conversations or arguments. And the last part of this video is I would like to talk about tips for both the male and the female, and just give 3 tips about communication for both of you. And the number one is that we should use a non-violent communication language, if you will. And if you could try to follow this this formula of what to say when you, and then you state a specific action that bothered you. So when you, then the specific action that bothered you, I feel, and then you state your feelings in response to that action. So when you, something, I feel this way and that way. And then what I actually think is happening is that, and then you say, what is your version of what happened of that event. So when you do blah blah, I feel this way and that way. And what I think is actually happening, and you say, what do you think actually happened or is happening in that situation? And then what I need, want, or prefer, and then you say, what do you need, want, or prefer? So you give again, you explain what you need to what is that unmet need, what do you need to get met, so you can solve the problem, solve the conflict, right? And the last part would be a suggestion of a compromise or a way how to resolve it. So would you, or can we, and then you talk about a specific action or a behavior that would actually rectify the situation. So once again, 5 steps. When you, something, I feel, you say your feelings, what do I think is happening? You say your version of the story. I need you to do, or I need you to, I want, or I prefer, if da da da. And the last thing is the suggestion of the how to rectify the situation. So would you, can we please, blah blah blah. So that would be my tip number 1 for both of you. If you can stick to this formula or the structure of communication, you will actually get to a point where you will be both happy. You will put yourself in a situation as it's us versus the problem, which is actually my second point. So try to look at the situation as not me versus you. Like I have to win the argument because I need to be right, or I need to justify my beliefs or values or da 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 blah blah blah. It could be anything, right? Like, so instead of looking at it at me versus you and let's just fight, and even if there's even situations where sometimes we already recognize that maybe we did something wrong and maybe it was our fault or we would like to apologize, but our ego is just so much in control that we are so focused on being right or winning the argument rather than solving the problem, right? So you can either be right or you can have a happy relationship. It's your choice. So that was tip number 2. Simply try to look at the problem and then your relationship, or you two together versus the problem, and how you could together address the problem. And the last tip, number 3, for both of you is, I already mentioned it a few times, but I think it's really important to mention it again, and that is, don't attack the character. Don't give different labels, like this is always problem with you, and you never do this, and there's something wrong with you, and you are stupid or you are crazy. It really can go really deep, and I don't want to say these nasty words here, but I'm sure you know what I mean. So really try to stay calm and don't attack the character of your partner, their personality. Don't give them any labels, and simply try to stay present to the fact that using any aggressive or language of attacks is only going to make the situation worse. So I hope you guys enjoyed it and you found some value that will help you to have nice, strong, healthy, safe and secure relationships. My name is Martin and I am a holistic life coach at our Melimar Holistic Healing and Coaching. And if you would like to know more, I'll leave the links in the description. You can check our website, check out our services we offer, or you can even visit our Facebook page. Thank you, and as usual, have a wonderful day.